Hi, my name is Gordon, and I want to introduce you to the latest edition of Power Music. It's called Power Music AF, which stands for Accessible Format, and it's a special version of Power Music which has been created for visually impaired musicians. Now, you're all quite familiar, I'm sure, with how Power Music looks. We have the icon bar up here, we have menus down here, and we have other things like this. We have buttons and so on that people click on. And while we can make the music large and we can do things like changing the background and foreground colour, actually using the program is proving to be quite difficult for visually impaired musicians. So we have developed Power Music AF, which I'm now going to show you. And you'll see it looks completely different from Power Music Professional, but behind the scenes it's basically the same program. We've got rid of all of the little icons, all of the drop-down lists, all of the menus and things that were tricky for people with bad eyesight to use, and we've made it a nice, clear, text-only interface with big buttons and no small icons and drop-down lists and things like that. So this is a home screen where we start, and we can just go into songs by clicking here or using a touch screen. And we see on the left-hand side here, this is a list of songs. Now notice there's no preview on this screen. It would just make it too busy for someone who was visually impaired. If you want to see the music, you select the piece of music you want, and then you click on Display Music, and that displays it on screen. And now obviously you can make it much larger. So if we have something like this here, and we display this, and go to the next page, we can go right up to music as big as this. The same way as you come out of the full screen, you press escape or click up in the corner, that takes you back. So all the functionality you find in Power Music you'll find in AF, but instead of having to negotiate menus and clicking icons and things, everything is here in nice big clear buttons. So the button to display the music is here. We want to print it. We want to look at the details of a particular song. Just click on here. Here's all the details. We can edit them. Here's the audio player, so we can preview audio attached to it. And if we go back to all songs, we can add something to the playlist. So again, we just select what we want, add it to the playlist, select what we want, add it to the playlist, and the playlist builds up over here. We can save the playlist, and then we can recall it back again later. We can clear the playlist and so on. When it comes to editing the song, we've got the song editor here. So we just click on Edit Song, and that takes us into the editor. And again, we've greatly simplified this. So now you've got nice big buttons. You can choose what you want to work on. So I'm going to work on the music, but you can also choose to work on the lyrics, the titles, the authors, the categories, the libraries, other details, and so on. But if I click or tap on the music button, it takes me into a music editor. Down the side here, we have the pages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You click on any one of them, it will preview it here. We can edit this, we can crop it, we can duplicate it, we can change the brightness and contrast if it's something that's been scanned in. I'm not going to go into the details of what we can do, I'm just giving you an overview here. So the sheet music editor is very, very simple and straightforward to use. If we return back to the main menu, we can do things like put in titles. Again, it's very simple. You just add a title, put it in, nice big text and so on, and we can save the title. Same thing with categories, author, libraries. All of the things you'll find in Power Music Professional, you'll find in Power Music AF, but in an interface which is so easy to use if you have problems seeing a normal screen. Okay, so let's just go back now to the All Songs screen. To add a new piece of music to it, just tap the button up the top here, says Add Song. And again, that takes you into the song editor screen. You can add a chord sheet, and this is the interface here. You can copy and paste your text in here, put in your chords, do all these sort of things. If we go back to the editor and go to the music, you can import from PDF, you can import from a scanner, and you can import from images you have already. So if you're wanting to import from PDF, you just click on PDF, and we can choose a piece of music. So let me just give me a second to find a piece of music. Okay, so I'm just going to go in here, and I'm going to pick up a piece of music. Doesn't really matter what, this will do fine. And once it's into the editor, then you can start cropping the pieces you want. So I'll just start off by saying I want this much here on my first page, and I'll add that selection. Then I can move this down and say I want the next bar here, and I'll add that in, and so on. I can go down, add the next bar in, add that, and the next bar. If I want to preview it, I just click on the preview button and I get a preview of what it's going to look like. I'll come out of there, and then if I just return back to the editor and return again, we can give it a title, we can put in an author, we can put categories and all of these other things in as well. Now, a lot of people who maybe have a visual impairment don't like the standard black text on a white background. So let's just cancel my editing song here, and no, I won't save the changes. Let's go into the settings, which is probably the most important thing for this. The settings are in the Management tab, or the Management button. So if we click on here, we have settings, and then here as well we can manage our libraries, categories, authors. We can import and export from PM Zips, and we can back up and restore. Again, everything nice, big, clear buttons. So let's look at settings first of all. In the settings, we can choose our default display. In the colors option here, this is where you can configure it for what is best for the person's eyes that are using this. If you simply want to reverse everything, just click on white and black. When you do that, that reverses the colour, so the text becomes white and the background becomes black. So if we were to go back now and view our music in this, so we'll go back, home, and go to songs and choose something to display, and I display that, you can see now that it's white music on a black background. But that doesn't, that's not the only option you've got. You've got the option to go in and to choose any of the colours and also the size of the text on screen. Now, depending what size of screen you're using, I've got a 24-inch full HD screen here, and I find using 36 point about the right size for that. If you're using a smaller screen, maybe a 16-inch or a 19-inch, you might want to make it a smaller point size. So if we just click on here, you can see how it reduces the size on the menus over there, or it enlarges it like that. So it's a case of just playing around with the size of font until you get the font that suits best the size of screen you're using. I would not recommend you use PowerMusic AF on anything less than a 16-inch screen. Don't try using it on a tablet and 10-inch, 11-inch screens. It's just too small. Alternatively, instead of using white and black, we can go and change each of these individually. So if we go to foreground colour, we wanted the yellow text, and we wanted it on a nice dark blue background, we can do that. And then the other colour, which is the background colour, we can change that to something else like that. So again, if I go back now to my songs, you can see everything is changed into the colour settings I've used, and that might be the best settings for somebody, it might not, it's entirely up to you. Obviously, once you've made the settings, it remembers them, you don't have to do it all the time. And again, if we just go in here, select a piece of music and display it, it comes up in the colour that we have chosen. It doesn't just work with sheet music, it also has a chord sheet editor built in, so we display the chords, and again, you can set the chords to be really big, and you can change the colour of the chord line, the colour of the text line. You can insert more page breaks to make it even bigger on screen. That's PowerMusic AF. It's all the power of PowerMusic Professional behind the scenes, but with an interface specifically designed for visually impaired musicians. Not cluttered with little icons and drop-down lists and buttons and things you've got to click. Everything is a nice, big, plain text box and a button. The good news is as well, of course, all the music which you have in PowerMusic also works in AF. So if you have PowerMusic Professional running already, it shares the same database as AF. So your music you have in PowerMusic Professional will automatically appear in AF. But of course, if you have music on different computers, you can either use the PM Zips, or you can use, of course, PowerMusic Box, which is a preferred way, moving music, chord sheets, playlists, and so on between different devices. So that's just a quick overview of AF. AF is available by download either from ourselves or from SightRead Limited, who are our partners working on AF. And we've got to thank the RNIB for their help and their financial help in developing this new version of PowerMusic. As always, Cambron are very keen to get feedback from users. We modify and develop our programs in the light of the feedback we get from our users. So if you're a visually impaired musician and there's a particular feature you're looking at or something we've maybe not done in the best way, please feed back to us, let us know. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.